President Trump issuing a new warning to Oman, threatening to bomb the U.S. ally if it gets in the way of efforts to reach a deal with Iran.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us live from Tel Aviv with those details. Hi, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. With the memorandum of understanding expired, both the United States and Iran have indicated the status quo will remain with no diplomatic solution in sight. Early this morning, another vessel was targeted in the Strait of Hormuz with an unknown projectile. While Iran and Oman continue talks about the strait, the U.S. naval blockade remains in place, and President Trump has warned Oman against getting in the way as he pursues a better deal.
They want to make a deal, but they're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. Look, we're in there for one reason. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The Iranians have also released new statements about the conflict, with the country's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, saying, in part, patience, solidarity, and hope are the keys to Iran's resilience in the face of ever-increasing external pressures and threats. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson added this.
The negotiations never began, and therefore, the 60-day discussion is basically no longer relevant.
We're also tracking the latest developments here in Israel after a high-level meeting between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Jared Kushner. Kushner indicated to Fox News that very good conversations are taking place about other countries joining the Abraham Accords. Still, some, including Saudi Arabia, have tied the recognition of a Palestinian state to joining.
Has the Trump administration ruled out recognizing a Palestinian state?
I think before we could even talk about the political nature of a state, what we want to see is that the Palestinians can govern themselves. And I think that with the PA, they fall very, very short on the standard you need for somebody who can be qualified for a state. I think they have a lot of reforms they need to do, which the Saudis, the French, everyone agrees with us on. And so the government's been working on what the right set of reforms are. Whether they'll actually do it is another question. They've been threatening to reform for a decade now. And then in Gaza, if we have the National Committee, which will be a Palestinian technocratic committee, and they show that they can govern in a way that benefits the people of Gaza, then maybe we can talk about a political horizon later on in the future.
In the exclusive interview with Fox News, Kushner also indicated progress in the Gaza ceasefire, adding that Hamas could start to lay down their weapons in as little as 30 days. Guys?
Trey, as you well know, everything in the Middle East is oftentimes very interconnected. Let's combine both parts of your hit there. You started with Oman, you ended with Kushner and the Gaza peace talks. Does the friction with Oman potentially impact the Gaza peace talks, the Abraham Accords, all that? And if so, how?
Look, this is all connected because the Iranians have, for decades, funded proxies across the region, including Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah. As it relates to these talks with Oman, the president basically indicated that the United States is not involved in these conversations, and if there's any sort of agreement about control of the strait and it doesn't involve the U.S., that he is not going to accept that. He is looking for a broader deal to de-escalate regional tension and ensure that the Iranians do not have access to a nuclear weapon in the future.
Yeah, and Trey, when it comes to Hamas and them having these weapons, who oversees this and who's in charge of getting those weapons and taking them to make sure they don't have them?
So this is overseen by the Board of Peace that was ushered in by President Trump and the administration. And that's part of what they are doing now in these conversations that took place yesterday in Jerusalem. Jared Kushner has to get both Hamas and Israel on the same page and then use this now international body to build a plan to have Hamas lay down their arms, demilitarize the Gaza Strip, get rid of the tunnels, and then start the reconstruction process. And so this Board of Peace is overseen by Mladenov and also Tony Blair, two individuals who are directly involved and communicating with all sides in this conflict.
Okay. Trey Yingst live for us. Thank you so much, Trey.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.